Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got in a flashlight to take a look at. This one's coming from Sofirn and the model is the SK31. I'm starting this review on June 4th and this light is actually not released yet. They're telling me maybe toward the end of June or beginning of July it will be released. And as you can see, they don't even have the box completely finished yet. It's pretty much just blank all the way around. They'll eventually have like the picture of the light and it won't say this kind of stuff on here. At this point, I have almost no information on this light, so I'm hoping that there's a manual inside of here. I do know that it's supposed to be around 6,500 lumens for your max output. I know that it has a dual user interface, and it uses a 21700 battery. But stick around if you want to learn about it. I'll do a real quick unboxing. I'll try to give you guys whatever specifications and features I know about. We'll go over the user interface, try to give you guys some beam shots, and then give some thoughts on it. So it does look like they're using an LHP 73B LED, and your color temperature is going to be somewhere around 6,000 to 6,500 Kelvin. There is a QR code right there that you can scan. But let's get things pulled out of here. We'll see how things are packaged and what all we get. So it looks like the light's going to be up on top here. And then I'll get everything else out. So what was included was the flashlight, a lanyard, 2 O-rings, a charging cable which is type C to C, and a sheath. I assume that there is a battery in this. I'll look in a minute, but no manual with mine. I'm sure that the production version is going to have it. Quickly show you that included sheath, Velcro closure in the front, button, and Velcro on the back. So you can put your belt through here for quick kind of donning doffing, but you can also go through here to kind of leave it more permanently on your belt. And that does have like a plastic D-ring on it. So here is this SK31. I'll give you guys some close-ups before we start going over all the details of it. So I know this is made out of 6061 aluminum, and then it obviously has this black anodization on it. It is IPX8 waterproof rated. I do not know the drop rating on it, but if I find out before this video is published, I'll put it down below here. Looks like it's going to have a push button tail clicky switch here, a manual lockout that you can just slide that back and forth. That's interesting. A 2-way pocket clip. It looks like our charging port is going to be here. Crenulated bezel, and there are some like glass breaking beads, like ceramic beads up on there. A lot of the styling and design is very similar to the SK30, but this SK31 is much larger in every dimension. This SK31 is coming in at almost 5.9 inches. The head diameter on it is 1.4, and a body diameter is right about 1 inch. And as you can see, it's almost the same length as a dollar bill. As far as weight, we are looking at 7.9 ounces, and again, I believe there should be a battery in there. Let's quickly check to be sure. This unscrews from the middle of the body. The tail cap down here does not screw off. Should be a little film. Let's get that out. And then it's a Sofirn branded 21700 battery with 5,000 milliamp hours. If you remove that battery for the first time and forget how it goes, there's a little indicator right there saying that the positive goes toward the head of the light. So like this here. So I'm going to try to go over the user interface with you guys, but again, I don't have a whole lot of information, so I don't know all the outputs at the different levels, the different run times. If that stuff's available, by the time this video is published, I'll put some kind of chart up on the screen or something like that. And I may not know all the different things that this light can do right now. But like I showed earlier, you do have a manual lockout here, so when you're over on the lock side, Nothing works at all like it's supposed to. Flip it over to the unlock, and then our rear tail switch is going to turn this on. As you can see, that is a very, very low output there. I'm guessing it's probably less than 10 lumens, but again, I don't really have a way of testing that, but it's very low. You can barely even see it on the table. If you want to go to the next output, you just kind of give like a little half press here. You can see that's a pretty sizable increase in power. There is a huge center hotspot right there, and then you can see it's going to be a nice combination beam. This is going to throw really far. I think about 400 meters on the highest output, but it's also going to have a lot of spill with it. But if you want to go to the next output, again, just kind of half click, and again, that's a very, very bright. You can almost not even see my hand; it gets so bright. And then another. And then one more, and then it should go back to that lowest. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different outputs. And that highest one I do know is around 6,500 lumens. So I told you at the beginning of the video that this light has a dual user interface. And what I just showed you was for like normal or like daily use. This also has a tactical version. So you can turn this light on any level, it doesn't matter what output we're at. And then the same thing that we screwed down for our charging port has this little button right here. And you can press this, and now it puts us into tactical mode. You see we have a blue light here now. Tactical mode basically is going to give us our highest 6,500 lumens, and it's a momentary. When we were in like the regular or the outdoor mode, you could not do a momentary. So a half press on this gives you that momentary 6,500 lumens. There is a strobe on this setting, so if you're sensitive to that, you can look away for a minute or so. But you get to the strobe by basically fully pressing in on this. And when you're in the tactical, you can't leave on the turbo or the strobe. So like if you try to fully click it, it just comes back off. I did want to show you that this does have a battery level indicator. You can see we're flashing green right now when we turn it on. I assume that probably means that we're somewhere between 50 and 75%. Usually if they're solid green, it's between 75 and 100%. If it's red, it's between 50 and 25, and if it's flashing red, it's below 25%. But again, I can't completely verify by that, but that's probably what it is. If you decide you want to carry it in this holster sheath, that's kind of what it's going to look like on your belt. If you decide you want to pocket carry this light, you're maybe going to have 3/4 of an inch or so sticking up out of your pocket, not too bad. And even though the head on this is a little bit larger, you can definitely still pocket carry it. So I am going to get this fully charged before I do any beam shots. I did want to let you guys know that this 21700 is not proprietary in any way. You can use any 21700 in this light. In fact, if you had a long enough 18650, it would probably work in here too. All right, let's see what this SK31 looks like here in the dark. I'm going to do inside the house first. This is going to be that lowest, like eco mode. I know the camera probably has a hard time picking that up, but I can see just about everything in this room, even on this lowest output. But let's go up to the next level, which we'll call low. You see that is a sizable bump in power from the lowest. All right, let's go to the next one. Call that medium. You can really start to see that center hot spot over there on that sign. Lots of spill with this one though too. We'll check this out outside in a minute, but let's go to the next. Call this one high. And finally, let's go to this turbo. Very, very bright. And then it should cycle back to the eco again. I am going to show you the strobe inside here. So if you are sensitive to flashing lights, you can look away for the next few seconds. But I just want you to see what the pattern is. All right, now let's check out things outside. There's a row of trees that's about 60 to 70 feet in front of me. I'm going to turn this on in the eco, see if the camera can pick that up. I'm going to say that I really can't see those trees with the naked eye either. I know the camera definitely can't. I can see about maybe 30 feet in front of me or so, but let's go up to the low. And yeah, now you can easily make out those trees. Again, lots of punch already with this. Even on this lowest amount, I can see a couple 100 feet down here pretty easily. But let's go up to the medium. Now, there's a tree that's back there. So not that tree, but in the middle, way back there, that's about 100 yards away. And here on this medium setting, I can clearly make that out. So again, about 300 feet. All right, now let's bump up to the high. Again, I wish I had the numbers to tell you guys what the lumen output and stuff is. Maybe I'll have that before this video is published, but again, you can really see that. Again, lots of spill with this too. I'm gonna guess at least 50 to maybe 75 yards wide. But just a really nice combination beam. And let's finally go to that turbo setting. There you go. Lots of light output here. I know that this was like 6,500 lumens on this turbo setting. That's really the only output that I know. Well, hopefully seeing those beam shots was somewhat beneficial for you. I can tell you guys, I was really blown away by the performance of this light. Before I give all my thoughts on this light, there are a couple things I want to go over with you. I said earlier in the video that if you're on like the tactical setting, that you can't have your turbo be constant on or the strobe be constant on. Well, I figured out how to do those. So basically, you kind of half press here for your turbo, and then you hold that for maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds or so, and then this will stay on when you release. And also there's a medium mode here, so you're in the turbo. If you press this a half press, it takes you down to a lower output. If you half press, it goes back up to the turbo. So yeah, you have two outputs here. And then to shut that off, you just fully click. The strobe can also be constant on, so if you're sensitive to flashing lights, look away for the next minute, but just fully depress to get into your strobe. Leave that on for maybe, again, 5 seconds, 10 seconds or so, and then when you release the button, it will stay on. There's also an SOS and a beacon in here, so if you just half press this, this will take you into SOS, and then if you half press again, it'll be your beacon, which is just a single flash every so many seconds. And then a half press will take you back to strobe. And then you just fully press to turn it off. This was the included 21700 battery. I did want to show you guys that if you do have an 18650, now this is significantly shorter, but it will still work in this light. I'll show you here real quick. So as you can see, everything works there. I'll switch over to the like outdoor mode. Let me get that on there and switch this so you can see all the different modes will work here. So everything works perfectly fine with it. So do you guys have any flashlights where it's kind of like two flashlights in one, where you can have like an outdoor or a daily use one, and then also be able to switch it to a tactical version? If you do, let me know down in the comments and let me know which model you have. So what do I think about this TK31? I really like it. I think it's fantastic.
I would definitely recommend it. I think for the money that Sofirn is very hard to beat. They're such a great value. It's built really, really well. Has that IPX8 waterproof rating, which is fantastic. I think it has a drop rating of 1.5 meters. But just the overall build quality, construction of it's really, really good. Blown away by the performance of it. Again, around 6,500 lumens or so. The thing is super, super bright. It throws the beam a few hundred yards. It's also, very, very wide. It's just a nice combination beam. I like the fact that you are kind of getting 2 flashlights in one with that daily use version or with the tactical version. And it is super, super simple to switch between the two of them. Like, you literally just push that little button. I like the fact that they include that 21700 battery. Again, it's 5,000 milliamp hours, so you're going to have pretty good capacity, really good run times. And I like the fact that it is not proprietary, so you can use any 21700 battery in this. And like I just showed a couple minutes ago, you can use basically an 18650 as long as it's long enough. Another thing I like that a lot of people don't talk about is just how responsive this rear tail switch is. It does not take much pressure at all. I mean, I'm just barely touching this, but I actually really like that. Again, if you're in a tactical situation, I like how silent that switch is. It doesn't make any noise at all, and it doesn't take much effort to get that light on. And finally, I do like the fact that we have a manual lockout here. So if you're afraid of accidentally bumping that, it takes a split second to move that over, and then nothing happens. And again, a split second back, now you're right back in business. A couple things to let you guys know about. The turbo setting, that max output of maybe 6,500, 6,800 lumens, that probably only lasts maybe 30 seconds to a minute before it steps down. And then it goes down to about 1,100 lumens, and it will maintain that then for a few hours. And the last thing to let you guys know about is my version only has 5 outputs. So we're going to have like this lowest that you can barely see here. And then it's a sizable jump to this next one. And that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to the lowest. According to Sofirn's website, there's going to be 6 version or outputs. And there's one in between here and there. So I think that the lowest is like around 1 lumen. And then this one might be like 300 some lumens. And I think that the like the updated or the production release version is going to have a 50 lumen one in between there. And one other really quick thing, I don't know if I showed that this does have mode memory. So if we're in this lowest setting using it and we shut it off, we wait a day, a week, month, whatever, we turn it back on, we're going to be back in that lowest. And you can do that in any output. We'll shut it off there. We turn it back on, we'll be at the same one. So as I'm finishing up this video, these lights are available on Sofirn's website at sofirnlight.com. They're $53 on there, which is a fantastic price for this light. But they are not available on Amazon yet, but they should be very, very soon. But I'll leave links to both of those sites down in the video description in case you guys want to find out more information on the light, if you want to read some of the reviews, or if you want to pick one up. But alright guys, if you found the video helpful or informative in any way, please hit that like button. It really helps the channel out. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.